Welcome to Silkeborg, Denmark, just lying on the Gudano River, the longest river in Denmark, 176 kilometers long. The newly renovated town square has been a blessing for locals and travelers alike. And now curling has made its way to this quaint place. The LGT World Women's Curling Championship 2019 is off and running. Athletes and fans alike have made their way to Denmark, and we find ourselves at the Silkeborg Sports Center for the second draw on our broadcast this evening. USA play Denmark. My name is Sander Ulvåg, and I'm joined by Olympian Anne Swissel. Good evening, Anne.
Good evening, Sander.
Well, we're in for a treat this evening as we see the teams lined up for action, ready to get the ball going here, or the rock, so to speak. Denmark playing at home, USA making the trip across the pond, and we see some Danish flags in the stands. There might be an American flag somewhere here as well. Well, let's meet the teams for USA. At lead we have Monica Walker. Throwing second stones as Taylor Anderson. Third for USA, Sarah Anderson. And team skip for Team USA, Jamie Sinclair. And for Denmark, Anne,
Lena Knudsen will be playing lead. Julie Hug, second. Denise DuPont is the third stones. And Team Denmark skipped by Madeline DuPont.
we see all the teams in the competition, 13-team field, so of course a couple of teams not to have played so far. Denmark will be playing their first game this evening. Also Canada, Finland, Korea, and of course USA, Denmark's opponents. Lots of games to be played this week. Here are some of them. Korea will take on Canada. We'll have Sweden to take on Latvia. And Finland will play Switzerland as well as our feature game. We'll keep our eyes everywhere this evening, but our sole focus will be on USA Denmark, as the locals are getting riled up for a good game of curling. Teams being presented here in the Sports Center. Teams, of course, have had their practice, 9 minutes each. Ice looked really good this afternoon, huh?
Yeah, it's a fantastic venue. These women are really ready to get out here on the ice. They did not play in that opening draw, and this will be a great moment for the host nation, Denmark, playing a really strong team coming out of the United States.
Well, I'm sure both teams came in to have a look, to watch that first draw, maybe pick up a detail or two about the ice. And I have to say, things looked really good, considering it was just the first game. We had a lot of swing, pretty keen ice. Didn't seem to be a lot of mistakes being made because of the ice. They seemed to be able to figure it out, and I think we can expect some good shots to be made this evening.
Yeah, there'll be some extraordinary play out of both these teams. This has got to be a great moment for Madeline DuPont to be playing at home against Jamie Sinclair, who played for the bronze medal at last year's World Championship.
It's all calm before the storm here, as the teams are just waiting for the go-ahead to throw the first stone of this draw. We see the last stone draw here, the draw shot challenge. USA just outdrawing Denmark, and they will have the last stone advantage as we start. Lisa Knudsen will throw the first stone for Denmark.
Yeah, and this opening move is pretty important for both these teams. How you want to approach this first end, vital. And with that center line guard up front in the free guard zone, Denmark is really looking forward to putting some stones in play and forcing some offense. As USA's lead, Monica Walker, starts the championship. So trying to do a tick shot here, trying to open up the center, create two corners. It's just a super shot to open up. Monica's been playing really strong. She's an outstanding player to open up an end.
Well, as Lena Knudsen throws her second stone here, I might ask, why is that a good thing to push your opposition stone into the house and to be a scoring rock?
Well, basically, you want to control that area in front of the 4-foot. The yellow circles that you'll see in the center of those rings, you want to be the team that takes full command of that part of the scoring area. And now all of a sudden, with that Danish stone being behind the tee line, USA is going to ask their lead to freeze a rock down on it. Kind of use that stone to their benefit. So the Anderson twins, absolutely identical, sweeping this stone all the way down into the rings, looking for a little bit more distance.
What'd you get short on that? What'd you get short in the first one? I'm completely guessing, sorry. What was that? Cool. Yeah,
Julia Hög, only 19 years old, already played quite a lot of curling, quite a lot of international competitions, even the Olympic Games. Madeleine Dupont qualifying through the qualifying event in Pilsen, Czech Republic. It was quite the moment, and I believe the sporting moment for Dupont and probably the whole team.
Yeah, it was an incredible, incredible win for them to get a spot there.
Yeah, it looked like they had it all lost in the last end against Italy. Madeleine Dupont herself made some terrific shots and turned the end around, and they made it to Pyeongchang. There we see Taylor Anderson.
Got caught a little on the outside edge of that sheet there. It ran really straight. Team USA hits and rolls out.
9-2.
See the rules of play. The game is scheduled for 10 ends. They'll have to play 6 ends minimum, and we expect them to do so. 38 minutes of thinking time per team. And you can call a 60-second time at any point during the game. And of course, the 5-rock rule very much into play this season. Will be the first World Women's Curling Championship with the 5-rock rule. Well, we might get more into that later on.
And the second makes a great adjustment in speed, and Madeleine Dupont's happy with that. Stone sits on the top of the 4-foot. And that's that area I was talking about earlier, Sander, that control area, that yellow small area in the center of the house. It's 4 feet in diameter. It is the key scoring area in the rings.
Nice shot. Good.
Does open it up a bit.
Yeah, and now you see the scenario facing Denise Dupont on her first rock. It's a couple of USA corner guards, and she is looking to put a center guard back up and guard their valuable rock that sits on the top of the 4-foot. It's very well placed. It's really nice to get that first rock out of the way at a championship event. And now it is Sarah Anderson's turn. Being called to play a run back. It's a little to the inside. Does clear the guard, which is valuable.
Doesn't change much though. So Denmark can keep putting the guard back.
Yeah,
USA
and
might be forced to outdraw that yellow rock in the forefoot.
that would be a beautiful opening end for Denmark.
A little bit longer this guard than from Denise Dupont.
It's still in a really good location, but with the way this ice is curling, you might be able to get all the way around those center guards and tap that rock out, but not going to risk that in this opening end. They're going with the run back for a second time. Similar result for Sarah, just the single peel instead of the run back, take out. Denmark is going to look to put that guard back up in place. And, you know, after that, you might see Team USA draw all the way around. There might be enough of the forefoot to score your 2 points using the skip stones. So Madeline Dupont gets this. Her first rock in play.
Well, pretty much the same spot there for the skipper.
So they've elected to try that run back one more time.
Sarah's removing a little, huh?
So skip Jamie Sinclair. She's hoping that the third time's the charm here on this run back in the opening end. Looks like they've got a bit better line.
Well, just runs it past, actually leaves the shooter as well.
Yeah, that's the risk of the run back. Even if she had made it, there'd be lots of guards up there for Denmark to try and come around and use. It's always nice when you're the skip and in the opening end of the World Championship, you're throwing 2 guards back to back. It's nice.
Well, if you can do that all week, you're in good shape.
Yeah, you're in very good shape.
This one might just be overcurling a tad for Dupont here, but
Should still be okay.
might just be enough here and force Jamie Sinclair to play that draw for one that we saw coming.
Yeah, good job. I think this is easier.
Some meticulous cleaning from Sarah Anderson again.
Yeah, she's got a lot of energy. She's gonna not let anything happen to that rock when it comes into the house. And one of the reasons why they do that extra clean down there is there's a lot of footprints. That's where everyone walks and steps when they come into the rings, and it's a key part of this shot. So Jamie Sinclair needs a part of the forefoot, just about full 4 to out-count the Denmark stone.
I'll see the hog-to-hog clock here. We saw at least 14 seconds on a draw on the first draw this afternoon. It's a bit early though. First end might run a tad slower. 13.6 should be close, if not heavy. And will find its way into the forefoot here. A little sweep from Julia Hög to try and bring it farther, and maybe far enough for Denmark to steal here. Looked like the American front end was happy with it.
If anything, that was us. That's probably going to be like.
That is a measure called from Madeleine Dupont. From our angle, or from my angle anyway, it looked a bit yellow, but we will find out.
It's hard to tell from the exact position of the overhead camera, but the official will come out with the measuring device and confirm. Is it 1 for Denmark or 1 for USA?
Sarah Anderson told to stand behind the umpire.
Yeah, they are. The vice skips are allowed to be in the house and observe the measurement, but they cannot get in front of the measuring stick.
Yep.
Yeah, don't want to be in the way. As we see the dial go once and then a second time.
And it looks like USA.
Just about. Pretty cool sweeping job there by the front end, just enough for the 1. USA will lead it 1-0 after 1 end of play.
We can go top 4. They might go like a delayed corner kind of thing. All there.
Monica Walker gets the second end underway. It was a score of 1 for USA in that first end.
Starting to curl.
Yeah, and she opened the game with an outstanding tick shot. This time she wants to hit that top 4 scoring area. Stay above that center line, bisecting the scoring zone. called the T line.
And Denmark's not going to play ball here. Will make the hit. Might see them try and check over to the wing. And so they will. That's a pretty good shot there by Lena Knudsen.
Yeah, that's the pretty standard play we've been seeing this season with this 5 rock rule. That hit a stone that's in that control area, roll to the wing, force the team without that last stone advantage to play out in the wing and put the corner up on the second shot.
Does make the hit roll back to the center line, but will stay in the back 4. And now the corner guard will be called by Madeline DuPont as we jump on over to Sweden, Latvia, I believe Silkeborg with last rock here.
Yeah, and this is a wide open hit for 2 points for Olympic champion Anna Silkeborg and her team from Sweden in this opening end of the second draw. And they've got to wait. They need that to curl a little bit. It does so and sticks around the rings. And with that execution, Anna Silkeborg and Team Sweden take a 2-0 lead over Latvia after the first end.
Oh, that's rock. I believe it didn't make it over the hog line.
Yeah, in order for the rock to stay in play, it has to cross the thick black line that you see right there, but on the opposite end of the field of play, on the far end.
Yeah, release before the first one. Oh, get over the second one.
Correct.
I've been able to learn that much so far.
Yeah, Team USA.
We're in. Sorry, just nice and tight.
Accidentally puts that rock into the rings. They were looking for a really tight guard up in front, out in that free guard zone area.
Well, here he is, coach for Team Denmark, Ulrik Schmidt. He has played lots of curling in his day.
He has played lots of curling, and he has coached lots of curling.
He's played at the Olympic Games twice, back in Salt Lake in 2002 and then in Vancouver in 2010.
I'm gonna let you take it. Felt like more, guys. Felt like more. Okay. You gotta go. 3, 2. Line's good. Straight. 2. All right, let it die. I didn't think that would curl so much.
So USA puts the center guard back up.
Good job, sir.
And this guy is familiar to you, Anne?
Yeah, he is from Ontario. He's a Canadian curler. Brian Cochran, the coach for Jamie Sinclair and Team USA. He's been working with them this season. He's a soft-spoken individual.
This one over curling for Julia Hög, actually ends up nosing it. That's a mistake there. Leaves the USA a chance to come around and sit 2.
Yeah, that's definitely a difficult outcome. You saw her twisting her wrist. She's talking about her release. What did I do at the end of that shot? I slid good, but it went offline. These release points right there, they are so important to the success of a stone.
Top 8, sorry, top 8.
You can add too much rotation, not enough. You can pop it out a little bit.
Line good. Straight and Benny. This here, guys, piece of 4. We're there. Straight, no. Whoa. Sit, it's cleaning. Good. Nice throw.
It's a beautiful shot for USA.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to make it curl. It's just going to be... Just get ready. Okay. Yeah.
Looking to run this back here. Denise Dupont is trying to make it its way over. Does get the first one. Good shot there.
Yeah, that's great. Managing those angles, so difficult. Yeah. She's happy to get the stone off the top of the forefoot. And you can see just by moving that one stone how the scoring area can open up for you. Team USA is going to try and close it back down once again. Put another rock in the top of that forefoot.
Would you force your opponent to make that shot again, though, and not just a simple center guard?
Yes.
Top four. I'm good. Coming down, yep.
When you think about it, this shot here, this is a draw. This is a draw to an area maybe 2 to 3 feet that it works out really well. On the run back, you have maybe an inch on the front of the stone that you can hit. And it's such a much tougher shot.
Good sweep.
Well, the draw is made. The run back is called again, just trying to figure out what turn to throw. So this would be in turn for Denise Dupont being a right-hander, or clockwise rotation.
Yeah, you can see right here on the release. Clockwise. And sweeping it right from release. Looks like it's curling a little too much. And it's too much movement from left to right from the shooter's position. Does open it up.
And then we throw on top. I like a tight guard. I had you edge. Yeah, mine. I think that's fine. I'd rather throw them.
Just throw up a guard?
You got it. What'd you say?
Just throw up a guard?
I like a guard, yeah.
This is the same path as Sarah's.
Born in Anchorage, Alaska, I believe, Jamie Sinclair, but resides in Ontario, Canada.
Yeah, I think she spent most of her life in Canada. She, by virtue of where she was born, she's eligible based on the rules to play for Team USA. And Jamie's been a part of Team USA for a long time. She's had a ton of success wearing the red, white, and blue. Right now, she is looking for a very tight guard. And by tight guard, they mean tight to the rings.
Good. Nice throw, James. Good spot.
Yeah.
Really good. Good judge.
5-6. And it seems to come back for guards.
Yeah. I just keep gliding. It's a lot more than I was shooting.
So mixing it up here now, Madeline Dupont, thinking well, it's getting a bit too late to still keep running it back, or
Yeah, there's no point in trying to run double those stones because there'll still be a center guard. USA will come around it, and you'll be forced to one, even if you were to make some kind of a great shot. So now it's time to think about scoring. How can you score? And the idea with this last stone advantage is you want to score 2 points or more.
so to score 2 with 2 rocks remaining, bring that first one into the house somewhere.
Yeah, I think the ideal location here would be frozen on top of the USA rock that's in the back of the forefoot.
More than enough weight on this one.
Yeah, the line was really close. And that's a bit of a tricky spot. USA should be able to see it if they want to. So USA's got a couple of choices. They can draw down on top of it, which it looks like that's what they're going to do.
Dirty shoes.
Or they could pick it
Yeah,
out
they have
with
the
hit
old
weight.
Deluxes.
Yeah.
I think they're just old grippers.
Yeah.
Got it?
Right to it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't see much of it. Okay. Speed. Speed's
Same
really
speed
nice
here.
here.
Just T is good.
Yeah.
Little bumps, okay.
Yeah.
Good ad.
Good ad on it. A little light.
Little light. Mine's good.
6, 7.
Right to it, guys. Right to it. Room.
7, 7.
Right to it. Come on. All there. 8. No bump. No bump. Come on.
Lots of communication happening for USA. Back and forth. The positioning of this rock really critical.
Nice. Good call.
Yeah, it works out pretty well for Jamie Sinclair. Denmark just having a look to see who's second shot here.
Right to it. Room.
7, 7.
You heard the communication.
Come on. All there. 8.
7 being T-line, 8 just being back the T-line, that number system. See so many teams use, and the weight is being communicated back to the vice skip, Sarah Anderson, all the way down, and she's in charge of line, and in the end they yeah, make a pretty good one there, Team USA. I don't think Denmark will look to score 2 here, and I'm not sure if there really is a shot to score 2, and they'll pretty much play the same shot that Sinclair did. Just a little heavy draw here, nudge the shot stone for 1.
Yeah, this is a pretty critical shot here for Denmark in the sense that that would be a really huge point swing if USA could somehow steal a point here. Being down 2-0 would be really tough. So Madeline DuPont needs to cover the very center of the circles. Precision draw.
Just sweeping now to hold the line onto the red shot stone here, past the top. Bradley will get there. Very nice shot, very well swept by that front end to carry the stone there. 1 point for Denmark. They tie it up, and the fans very much appreciate it. Lots of Danish fans in this Saturday evening. Great place to be for curling fun. It's a tied game as they play USA on home soil, the Danish.
And it's been a great start for both of these teams out here. I mean, this is the first game at the World Championship. Nerves and energy, excitement, all of that going. Both teams have played really well in the opening two ends.
Other way. 9-5. Whoa. Whoa, off. Yep. Slow roll. Yep. 9-8. Good.
Are we seeing the same kind of play from USA here? Hitting that rock, trying to bring the player away from the forefoot and then maybe throw the corner guard in the next one?
Yeah, I think so. I'm not sure that Denmark meant to come into the rings with their very first stone. We saw their play in the first end. They threw that center guard with such confidence, and it worked so well for them. You know, when you've got tactics that are working for you, you know, you don't want to change them up significantly. So now the play's in the rings, and Denmark has no center guards. Team USA is going to get their chance to put a corner guard up. And Monica Walker intently watching her stone. Every time you throw, you try and learn as much about your shot as you can. That stone comes up a little bit light for USA. That's a pretty long guard, and it's out on the wings on the side of the sheet, and we call that a corner guard. They'd probably like that a little bit tighter in the field of play, tighter to the rings. So there is a technical timeout because one of the handles is loose on the stone. And this is a good time to talk a little bit about those handles. They're pretty technically significant.
Yes.
They've got sensors in them so that if a stone were to be a fouled stone, not released in time, back to that hog line we talked about earlier, Sander, the lights would flash. There's a battery in it. And means a pause in the game for everybody.
Kan du ikke skyde den, og så kan de åbne den hernede?
Det er fordi håndtaget er løst. Jeg kan ikke rotere den uden håndtaget kører rundt.
Nå.
There's a loose handle, and there we go. We're going to be able to tighten the screw a bit, or the bolt rather.
That's a problem.
And there we go. So she could have elected to throw in one of her teammates' rocks to have that pause and play, but I think most players would quite like to throw their own rock because there might be some subtle differences.
Yeah, each one of those stones, very unique, one to the other. The idea is that they're similar, but they are not perfectly identical. Much like the Anderson twins.
Well, it is a product of nature, the
Yeah,
granite.
right. It is a natural substance. It is one of the densest granites on the planet. And it was worth the wait for Team Denmark in getting that stone fixed. It's a beautifully placed centerline guard.
Sometimes that could disturb the game a bit, or your focus. But yeah, kept her cool there. Made the guard.
And Taylor Anderson is being asked to come around that corner guard that USA put into play. So they want to tuck the stone behind the red stone right there on the logo that they just passed.
Go ahead, go ahead. Yep.
Hard, Sarah. Go. Hard. Okay. Good throw. Sweet. Nice shot.
Those are all the scores. No points scored between Korea And Canada, as in, they're in the third end. Sweden is up 2-1 on Latvia. And Switzerland as well, up 2-1 on Finland. Those are all the 4 games on this evening. Meaning some teams will have a bye. It's a long week.
It is a long week. There are 13 countries here vying for the World Championship. It is a 12-game round robin, and then multiple layers of playoffs. It is a long week. It requires a ton of focus. And keeping her cool and keeping her focus. After this handle challenge. A beautiful shot from the Danish second.
Same little taps, okay? Yeah. Sure, I like it. Control, nice control. A good control here.
So Team USA trying to get a little clever in this shot, looking for a large hit and roll. So they want to take out one stone here on the corner and roll towards the other one.
Nice shot.
What a great shot.
Good sweep. Remember to relay what she's saying too. Yeah. Nice shot.
Does also open up that right-hand side a bit.
Yeah, it completely opens a path to the forefoot in case you need it later in the end. And from one great shot to another, Denise DuPont, delicate weight, double takeout and roll behind the center guard. Outstanding execution.
A little light? I think it's all there. A little light. Line, not late. Stop me. 5. There's 5. 6. Weight's good. 5, 6. Gotta go, Tate. Gotta go, Tate.
USA really needing this rock into a good, strong position in the center of these rings. And I think that stone was just a little bit light. It over curls, wrecks on the center guard, and kind of chokes off that side of the field of play.
I haven't really played that half. I like those.
Mette, har du haft nogen lang her?
De er omkring 14,5.
Ja, de sætter sig lidt.
Go! På linjen!
Sådan lidt.
7. 8. Skal have! 8. Yes! Skal have! 7. Ej, 8. Okay, wow, den er 8. Ej, yep, Mina, yep! Yep!
We'll have to come around here, just over curling.
Okay.
But just redirects the guard a bit. Rolls into the top 12.
Yeah, the weight looked good for DuPont, but line was tough. And now USA needs to clear away into the scoring area. You can see it's pretty congested up in front of the rings.
Give me this. You got it.
You'll see some power behind this stone for Sarah Anderson.
Oh! Easy peel.
Well, gets a couple of yellows going, spins that red in, but Denmark still lies 2 as we jump on over to Korea, Canada. No score so far, but I think we'll have one here, Anne.
Yeah, for sure. Korea sitting 1, 2, and 3 in the rings. This is Chelsea Carey, skip for Team Canada. She is looking to take a stone out and sit in the rings, roll a little in. Not sure she gets the roll. It's pretty close over there as the thirds take a look. Who's going to hang the first point on the board?
Sure. Can we measure?
And we're not going to know for a little bit. They're going to bring out the measuring stick. It's so close.
Throwing the guard here, Madeline Dupont. Really make a move here across the center line. Finds a decent spot.
Yeah, it's a great spot line-wise, but again, it is fairly far from the rings, and you see the way the stones are moving from right to left and left to right. This ice has fantastic curl. And
Yeah, I think it's going to be stiffer here.
Really? You got this. Nice back line.
Sinclair is going to throw a little bit of maybe a back line weight shot. Try and tap that rock off the top of the forefoot,
Might feel like
that yellow circle you see there.
Yeah. Still good though. Yeah. That's relax.
Just back line. Whoa! Back line. Whoa! Hold on. Whoa! Need to curl. Need to curl. Back line. Taylor. Taylor.
Trying to carve this one in here. Little extra finish, come across that center line, get to the yellow. They do. How far do they push it? Not far enough, but USA will lie second shot here.
Yeah, that stone really never had a chance with the kind of weight that was thrown there. The team thought it was back line, but it was not much more than the back 8 weight. And,
Well, we can see Korea did win that measure, so they still won to lead Canada by the single point after 3 ends of play.
Nej, det er det. Så den skal ind i top 4, fuld 4. Ja. Lidt mere is. Ja. Vi skal tæt forbi den røde derude.
Ja, du kommer nok til at skulle relativt tæt,
Ja. Ja, 0,5.
Okay.
When the
Whoa!
draw here. Is there enough room to navigate past both cards and that red stone left by USA? Top 8. We shall see. Sweeping for line here.
yeah, they're going really hard. They've got to keep holding that line.
Had a bit of room in that corner, but still not sure if that shot was there.
Yeah, and the danger of playing that way is you just showed
Nej, det er virkelig en god hånd.
Jamie Sinclair exactly how to get in there. She knows how it bends now exactly on that weight.
Men det er vel næsten også der, hvor det touch more, maybe?
It's a huge opportunity for Team USA to score 2 points.
Same speed on this
You can see right there, that's the path she's got to take. She's got to
She
navigate
really
between
cute.
those
I got a
2
14.5.
stones out in front of the
Well,
rings.
maybe a little bit better, actually. Yeah. Okay.
Come on down and tap the Danish counter out of the back of the forefoot.
Not a gimme here for Jamie Sinclair.
No, but these are the kind of shots that when you're skip, you love having this opportunity, right? You do have a chance to score too.
Back line. Help, Taylor! Yeah!
I think they might have it here.
Oh, this is
Through the
close.
port. Down onto the yellow.
Nice shot.
Made out of hand there by Jamie Sinclair, and 2 points on the board for USA. Clutch stuff by the
Great
American
job.
skipper, and a 3-1
Good
lead
call.
for USA after 3 ends of play
Really good.
here in Silkeborg.
That's perfect weight.
Sorry, it was a big ad at the end.
No, it's great. I like how you threw it that way.
Yeah,
You can't really do much with if it's light.
Fik en ud af sådan.
It's the big anyway.
Ja. Måske lidt semi-officielt.
A pretty all there. 7. 7. Felt like a lot. Top 4. 6, 7. Here you, Benny. Switch.
3-1, USA leads it as we play the 4th end here.
Flat 6. Really curling. Switch.
2 points up on Denmark, the home nation, the hosts. And a nice draw by Monica Walker, finds the top of that LGT logo on the button.
Yeah, a very, very steady player, Monica. Really reliable rock placement. And now all of a sudden you see a tactical change for Denmark. They are going to leave that stone on the forefoot. That's actually on the button. They're going to throw the corner guard right away.
Ja, men vi kan ikke rigtig tåle. Nej, man kan ikke tåle.
Just wanting this to stop in time, and it does. Just short of the rings as we look on over to Sweden, Latvia. Sweden with last rock.
Yeah, and again, Sweden has some excellent control going in this end. Anna Hasselberg will just need to hit the scoring area to take 2 points.
Ganska rakt. Gå rakt.
Team is just cleaning it all the way down the ice.
Kvala fint. Kvala väldigt lugnt och fint, men ha bra finish.
And that rock comes to rest in a pretty nice spot. Sweden will pick up the 2 points for a 4-1 lead over Latvia after third end.
Anna Hasselberg, of course, looking to pick up gold here, add to her collection after that Olympic win just a bit more than a year ago.
Yeah, that's such a strong team from Sweden.
Oh, gets a little tickle on the guard. And ends up in a decent spot. And speaking of World Championships and gold medals, Dorothy Norby on the right, 2-time world champion in her own right.
Yeah, one of the greatest players in the game, getting an extraordinary recognition from the World Curling Federation by going into the Hall of Fame. I had the pleasure of playing against her, and they're just one of the best teams in the history of the game on the women's side.
Also the booking manager for the curling club. Back in just outside Oslo, Snarøya, where the Oldsrud team have practiced all their years. And she has a house overlooking the club from her balcony.
Yeah, she is one of the legends, a living legend in this sport. As we flash from her to one of the youngest athletes out there on the sheet. Julie Hook gets a nice little hit. She was looking for the double.
Pretty good option there.
Yeah, you know the speed here. Big ad.
Yeah, big ad.
It's there. 7, 8, 8. Up, how much?
Yep.
What? Where? 7, 8. 9, 8. Yep. 7. Yep. 7.
Right to the red one.
Sorry.
And that stone was a little bit heavier than Team USA was looking for. And you can see with those angles, the hit, that double takeout and roll is there after Taylor Anderson's rock comes a little bit heavy.
Du har ikke så meget af den der, har du?
Nej.
Du er bedre på den side.
Ja.
God! Ja! Tag den her! Ja! Yes, Pia! Hallelujah!
Sweepers are fighting hard to hold the line on this one.
Redirects and was able to push that guard into the top 12.
Yeah, it does make things a little challenging for USA in the sense that there's that stone hidden underneath the corner for Team Denmark. And if they were to ever be able to activate that center,
That, yeah.
Because they could throw a run double. Our angles
Sure,
are
it's
bad.
okay.
Yeah.
so because of that stone rolling into the rings, Sarah Anderson really wants to come down into the rings.
Nice. Seems light.
Added.
Okay.
All right. Added. Got me.
Where are we? 5, 6.
5, 4, 3.
Gotta go, man.
Oh my. 4.
Gotta go. PC8.
3, 3.
Gotta go.
3.
Gotta go.
3.
Hard on.
Go, 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 go. Hard, go, go. Hard.
We're not there. No, they're just a little high.
Oh, that stone over curls. And now it is pretty much wide open for the double takeout and roll.
Sorry, I knew it wasn't there.
Denise DuPont's had some excellent shots already this game. This is a fantastic opportunity. Oh, and they just don't capitalize. That rock hits a little on the outside, the high side, and jams and rolls out.
Batter the corner freeze. I think it's just a tough shot. You miss it by an inch, set up double. Got it?
I like the red.
Okay,
3.
5 feet less.
Yeah, a little bit less.
You got it, Sarah. Two, 3. More like a 2. 2.
Hair tight.
Oh, hard line. 2.
On.
2.
On.
Over curling.
1. Oh.
So this rock,
Oh, let it die.
a lot lighter than the last stone. Sits really high.
That came up more than I thought.
Pretty soft on it. Good calls.
So USA taking a look at this situation. Going to need a little bit more delicate weight here for Team Denmark. Get around that center line guard.
And again, they're able to redirect and get something pushed into the rings here, Denmark. Well, when you're that close, sometimes you get something.
Yeah, and you do need things to go your way in a sport where round things are hitting round things.
And that's becoming a bit of an issue now for USA. A lot of yellows accumulating.
Yeah, and you can see they've got a team meeting. All four of them are down there right away, taking a look at the scenarios. What's the best option? And remember, USA's got that 2-point lead on the scoreboard.
You got it.
You know, finding a way to limit the score for Denmark.
That's pretty steep, Mon.
Yeah.
Pretty critical, but you do have a bit of a cushion with that 2-point lead.
Yeah, just 2.5. Still a really nice speed here.
Okay. Touch center, guys.
So you can see Team USA's vice skip, Sarah Anderson. She's standing in the center of the 12-foot, holding her brush, and that's the target for skip Jamie Sinclair. She's sliding and releasing her stone at that target. She's got the counterclockwise rotation. It's going to move to her left. You'll see here how this stone starts to curl. Moving right to left. Sweepers working hard to drag that stone as far as they can. They got to get it over the hog line, that thick black line. And a pretty nice guard for USA.
Den her vej igennem med sådan en 12 bagkant.
Vi hælder ned igennem det hul der.
Ja, vi snakkede lige om det, fordi at,
Den ligger ret langt op,
det er svært at se, hvordan den røde, om den ligger i vejen, den i hus.
Må jeg lige få det til at rejse op?
Det ligner lidt, den røde ligger i vejen herfra, men det ved jeg ikke, om den gør.
Jeg ved bare ikke, hvor meget den køler den vej.
Så er det måske det, vi skal.
Altså, vi skal jo over ramme den gule lige på.
Ja. Ej, det er nok. Så er der nok gang. Ja.
Det er kun fordi, hvis hun ligger en bedre
Looking
gang
at
næste
coming
gang, så
through
har
the
jeg jo
park,
noget.
maybe promoting the
Det er kun
Yellowstone
fordi, hvis hun ligger en
top
bedre gang
forefoot
næste gang,
onto the
så
red.
har jeg jo ikke noget på den.
Nej.
Yeah, skip Madeline DuPont got some information from her front end, thinking maybe there's a different shot there than what she originally called.
Ligner det lidt af den anden vej, selvom den gerne ligger længere over der.
Jeg tror alligevel, hvis vi går tæt forbi den her garde, så der er lang vej.
Altså, jeg ved godt, den er svær, men altså, hvis den kommer ind i noget, hvor den bare...
Cold peel on the guard, just like the view from the hack made her change her mind a bit.
Altså, den har meget bane til at komme derover på.
Ja, over på den gule?
Ja.
Det tror jeg også. Mere fordi jeg tænker, selv hvis vi nu rammer den røde og ruller over i det åbne,
So as Denmark make their decision, we'll see Sweden, Latvia. It's Latvia now with the last stone.
Yeah, and Latvia looking at a handful of Swedish stones.
Santa Bloomberger with the last rock here.
She needs to hit and stay. So simple takeout. It's all about managing the line and weight for Latvia, trying to keep Sweden within a couple of points, and they do. Well executed. Latvia takes a single point in the fourth. They're still down by 2.
Madeline DuPont tried to navigate through that port, just couldn't curl enough, and Rex on that redstone was just top 12. Shot was probably there, maybe just was slightly overthrown.
Yeah, that shot was pretty challenging, weight and line-wise. You know, this might be one of those moments where Madeline looks back and says, wow, if I had just played this simple peel, open it up, force USA into a tough shot. You've got 3 stones sitting in the rings. No real good hitting option for USA at that point. But now all of a sudden, USA's got a wide open shot at the stones into the rings.
I think you'll want to hair more. I don't think it's quite as, no, I don't think it's quite as fast on this side.
A little kiss off the outside one's fine too.
Okay.
Just gotta come close to center.
Yep, you'll get good curl here too.
Don't mind a hair more.
So USA gonna try and tighten up that hole through the center. They are going to put another guard up.
2, 3, 3.
Easy.
3, 2, 2.
Close, Taylor.
2.
Whoa, let it die.
Taylor. Just 1. Taylor.
Oh, and the
Just
stone
one.
is over
Right to the
curling.
ground.
Bounce off.
Yeah, go.
Go.
Okay. Good.
Sorry.
No, good throw. You're good.
So Jamie a little disappointed in that. She apologizes, but I do think that's enough to stop Denmark from using that same path they had just played.
Where did the broom end up?
The broom ended up an inch inside the gate foot. Yeah.
Trying to figure out if they can slash this yellow in.
Okay.
Very thin, just catch a tiny piece and run it across onto the red. Could be for 3.
Yeah.
And it's the type of shot DuPont definitely can make. She's made some cracking shots in her past, and I'm sure there'll be some in the future, maybe one here already.
Yeah, and this side of the ice, it's a little bit
Knee and
straight.
Knee and hat. Yep.
And they're close.
What do they have here? They have a piece, but too much of it, and runs it right past that red. It will be a steal of 1 for USA. And that's a big point swing as well. As now USA will lead it 4-1 after 4 ends.
Just had to be a bit, probably had to hit a quarter of it.
Ja.
Hit like half.
Ja.
Okay.
Der er vi forbi, en del forbi dernede, ikke? Jo, nej. Vi er alligevel halvt sten, ikke? Er vi så meget forbi? Okay. Det er lidt mere.
Good ad on it. I thought it was a little light with a big ad. Feels light. 6, 7.
Line's good, 7.
Starting to curl. 7. Yep.
7. 4, 6. Yep, gotta go.
Always a lot of communication,
Hard.
as this rock is just landing on the forefoot, even with the lead rocks. They're still communicating very well, the Americans,
Nice
not
job.
leaving anything to chance and focusing on every stone.
Yeah, their communication is very specific. It is very scripted, their roles, their responsibilities. Really kind of tightly managed for Team USA. And it's one of the reasons that, you know, they're pretty successful with this in this game. They've got the 3-point lead now. And by being very specific with their communication, and if they're listening to themselves and each other, they learn so much from every shot, each moment out there. You can hear the players now saying 3. 3 means this rock is going to stop tight to the rings. And they get constant feedback from the skip in the house.
Do you think that rock's slower? I think he threw it slower, but good throw though. I thought that would be there.
And Monica follows up and gets the final feedback on her shot, kind of debriefing after her throw. And now we hear Team Denmark doing the same.
Jumping on over, it's Korea, Canada, and I believe Chelsea Carey looking to put the first score on the board for the Canadians.
Yeah, they were disappointed with the measure that we had checked out in the third end. Korea stole a single point. It's an opportunity now for Chelsea Carey to play a little bit of a tap back in the forefoot. Front end of Brown and Ferguson sweeping so hard to get by that guard. They've got to still hold the line to make the tap back. And extraordinary sweeping on a beautiful throw by Chelsea Carey. Canada gets on the board with a score of 2. They're up by 1, playing in the 5th.
Taylor Anderson on our sheet just coming off that yellow. And half tuck. Half tucked in behind the center guard. Well, 5th end down by 3 would be pretty key for Denmark to score a couple points here.
Yeah, you want to go into that halfway part of the game, that halftime kind of break, with a little bit of momentum. And that's not the kind of shot that's going to help them at this point. It does open up maybe a little bit of the center, but Team Denmark needs a couple of pretty well executed stones here. They are definitely chasing Team USA right now.
Weight's good, 2. Oh, over and off. 1.5. Whoa. She just kind of softed it. Yeah. Sorry. No, you're good. Just the release. Yeah. Dropped it.
Well, we saw the 2 points for Canada as they lead Korea. Sweden is up 4-2 on Latvia, and it's a 3-2 lead for Switzerland, playing Finland on sheet D just next door.
Good. Sorry, guys. No, you're good.
And Denmark makes the single takeout. So after being a little bit narrow on her first shot, that one looks a little wide, and a great sweep call from Skip Madeline DuPont, trying to kind of save that shot. the shooter off the USA stone in the side of the rings. They couldn't do it. Now this opens up a draw for Sarah Anderson.
4, 3. 5, 3, 4. Room. 4. I'm good. Bit of room. Wait only, guys. Yep. 3. Wait only. Got to curl. Got to cross center. Got to curl. Needs to curl. Hard. Yep. Go, go, go. Come on, hard. Good sweep, guys. Great spot. Good sweep, Mom.
And she tucks the majority of that stone behind the long guard.
Good sweep. Good shot.
Ja. Jeg tror, den er normalt herovre banen. Ja, ja, lige præcis.
Last comment from Skip. Madeline DuPont there is throwing enough weight to kill this red. Definitely want to bring that Yellowstone top 12 back into play.
Yeah, and
Just over curls here, catches the center guard.
Team Denmark is all of a sudden having a little bit of trouble with their line, a little bit of trouble in this end. They're a little narrow, a little wide, a little narrow. I think you're getting a couple of corrections from Skip and shooters that are
She outed it a little.
1.5.
a double correction, maybe a little more ice or a little less ice. I think Team Denmark needs to settle down,
What? 2.
kind of trust the broom placement and weight calls,
Got to curl a bit. Here, go ahead. Close to center.
and execute a couple of shots.
Gotta go. Yep, yep, yep. Hard, yep. Sorry, Mom. No, you're good.
The USA may have let Denmark off the hook. Still open down the center. And now a nose hit should do it for the double takeout.
Not a lot of room, but basically the room you need to make the double.
This one looks a little wide. Oh, there it curls.
What you got here, Denise DuPont? 1 and 2. That one might stick around and will, but pops out in the open. Pretty good shot by Denise. Does open it up, but still a center guard in play. And now quite a lot of yellows in the top of the 12 foot, all staggered.
Den er lidt langsom, ikke?
Yeah, and there's no real good double takeout option for USA right now.
Altså, den kan jo ikke komme tættere forbi den gule deroppe.
So because there isn't, USA is going to play the draw and sit count 1 and 2.
Top 8. Line has some room. Line good. 6, 7. Line's good. 6. Right here. 5, 6. Yeah. Line's good. 6, 7. Room. 6, 7. Room. 7. Mon is ready. 4, 7. Right here. Gotta go, Mon. Right here. Go, Mon. Go, 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 go. Hard. Go. Nice.
And that is a fantastic shot right down to the top of the button.
Put that in your pocket.
Super weight for Jamie Sinclair.
12. Really good.
Den svære retning. Hvad siger du? Den svære retning.
Okay.
Altså, nu ved jeg godt skærmen.
10.
Jo.
Ja. Ja, 10. 10.
Ja. Det lyder som om hun siger 9.
Ja, det gør så.
Jo, eller nej, det ved jeg ikke. Hun pegede på 10. Ja. Men det er fordi, det lyder altid som om hun siger 9 nemlig.
Well, lining up the run back here, Madeline DuPont. Running this yellow right back on that draw. That was sunk in by Jamie Sinclair.
Goal!
Not throwing huge weight here. Just trying to bring the sweepers into play. Look to stick it right in behind cover here. Starting to over curl, might get the double if you're lucky, but it rolls underneath. Does kill one red, but leaves the situation very much the same for USA. Well, that curls a quarter of an inch less. You might see both the reds go.
As Team Denmark looks on, they should have a better angle for the next shot.
Similar ice, maybe a smidge less? Yep, you had plenty of room around everything.
If they have to play that run again, it'll be the third time in a row.
Okay. Try to get it a bit more buried.
Yeah, we'll finish it at the end.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so as soon as we're by, like, just have at her.
Yep. Yeah, we can do it.
Piece of the 4.
Touch more?
Yeah, more. More. Backing. Back 4. Line good. Close. Taylor. Taylor.
It's curling.
Go, Tate. Taylor. Go, Tate.
Hard to get.
Hard, Tate. Hard, yes. Hard.
Keep going, keep going, keep going.
Hard, Taylor. Go, 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 go.
Okay.
Now, you know, that's a very interesting set of circumstances there for USA. When their skip let that stone go, the sweepers were certain it had more weight than her first one. But that started curling very early on the sheet. I wonder if that rock might have a little bit of a sharp edge to it, Sander.
Could be. Should have maybe picked up on that. We're in the 5th end. Plus, you have the pre-game practice and also team practice before the event.
Lots of skips like having a stone that curls a little bit more, finishes a little bit harder. But it's unusual to hear Team USA's front end be so off in weight call. I mean, that's 8 feet of error, and that's really, really unusual. So you've got to think something strange happened there. It has to be a learning moment for Team USA. Is the ice changing? Does something need adjustment in their visual acuity? But now this is an opportunity for Denmark. Take 2 points and maybe take that momentum, move that momentum that we had talked about a little bit earlier.
Putting a bit more weight this time. Well, the out turn seems to be tracking a bit for Denmark. Will it curl enough here to make the hit and stick? I think it will. There you go, 2 points for Denmark. And they claw back in this 5th end. And again, lots of home crowd support. They're very much in this game. USA will lead it 4-3 after 5 ends, and the teams will have a 5-minute break. Second end, it is USA with the shot stone. Madeleine Dupont with last rock. Looking for a heavy draw. Sweepers able to keep this one straight all the way down onto the button for the single point. All tied coming into the 3rd end. Jamie Sinclair left a port on the end turn, playing a controlled weight. And this was very much a controlled throw, just made out of hand the whole way down onto the Danish shot stone, and a score of 2 and a 2-point lead. In the fourth, a big shot called by the Danish skipper, looking to slash this in for a potential score of 3, but just over curling, not catching the red. That would be a steal of 1 for the Americans. And there we see all the scores in the Silkeborg Sports Center this evening. Korea is up 3-2 on Canada. Sweden leads at 6-2 on Latvia, and also Finland up by 1 point on Switzerland.
I wanted to hit, I just didn't see any good options.
Anyone that's the other color.
No, I know, but then we would just...
We were all over them in that end.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like the choice.
I wanted to hit, I just didn't see anything good. Yeah.
Guards and cards.
Yeah, tight. Like if you're throwing guards, like you have to get really close to the house because they can come around anything.
Og hvis hun ligger på siden, hvad er det så?
Nu?
Ja.
Ja, så ligger garden.
Vi ligger garden, hun ligger nu i siden.
Ja, så rundt.
Nå, rundt.
Ja. Men sørg for ikke at komme dybt. Ikke dybt, ikke? Ikke dybt. I må gerne ligge oppe i toppen. I må gerne ligge åbent for den til at spille, ikke? Træk spillet over den anden side. Gå rundt den vej, hvor garden ikke ligger selvfølgelig, ikke?
Men det er vigtigt, at vi nu vi spiller på at give hende en og ikke på at stjæle.
Ja, helt
altså,
klart, helt klart. En til en er fint.
Ikke for crazy.
Og I kan også stjæle, ikke også? I kan ende med at stjæle. Jeg synes, I spiller den 100%.
Well, looking at the stats here, Anne, do you see anything?
Well, I mean, you can see that USA overall total percentage, kind of significantly up, but really the big difference in this game are the hit percentages. USA at 80% and Denmark at 63%. And Denmark's been throwing a lot of hits, and I think that's the difference in the scoreboard right there. It's a 1-point game, but USA has felt like it's had control the majority of the game. And if they take that 75% percentage and roll that into the second half, and they've got hammer in the 6th end, should be a good one for USA.
Teams are back in action here. USA play Denmark. It's the LGT World Women's Curling Championship 2019. You're listening to myself, Sander Ulvåg, and Anne Swisshelm. Not biased for this evening's game?
I am biased for excellent shots. I am a longtime member of Team USA as an athlete and as a coach, but here in this role, really what you're rooting for when you're watching these athletes play is excellent execution and shot making.
Well, we've seen some good ones so far through 5 ends. Well, most likely, and hopefully see lots more in the next 5. It's the first game for the teams. They're still just getting jiggy with the ice, really.
Yeah, and just looking to connect with that ice surface. Zina Knudsen playing 73% here in the first half. You know, for a lead, that's probably a little on the low side. You'd like to see those numbers 85% and above, but it's early yet. The statistical sample is only 5 ends. And that shot there will help her stats go up a little bit. And here's a number that I was talking about, that 85%. That's a really good opening game, first half at the World Championship number coming from Monica Walker.
Where's it? Time's a room. Line's good. 2.5. 2.
After the hit and roll, USA looking to put a corner guard on top.
Yeah, a little more, a little more, a little more. Good. Good.
Nice throw. That rock just doesn't carry like I think it's gonna.
Yeah, I got a 30.
Yeah.
Good throw. But yeah, I think it just...
That's pretty good rock placement there for Team USA.
Godt prøve.
Ellers læg den lange guard.
Den lange foran.
Ja.
Så hun ligger ude med den.
Yeah, so after some discussion, they end up, they had talked about going into the forefoot, using the single guard, but they decide to throw the long guard. And that's probably the game difference right there. 60% accuracy for the left-hander.
She's made some good shots, but just been a little bit inconsistent, wrecking on some guards as well. This one just looking for maximum separation, but slipping a bit too deep, so double peel on those center guards, very much an option for USA.
Yeah, now you see that there's 5 rocks that have been played. USA can hit the stones that are in front of the rings.
Just a single, though. Yep.
So not playing the double here, just getting the 1. Talked about leaving the shooter, but playing this kind of weight, seems like they're just going to be hitting and running. Don't want to kill their own red here on the way past. Close.
Yeah, Taylor kind of stabbed at that release, trying to add some weight. It's a little aggressive coming off her hand, and again, like you said, Sander, really just not necessary for that shot. And then we've got a very different kind of release there from the Danish second. Her eyes were dropped down to her hand. It's something that I really, I don't love to see. It's a target sport, and when you take your eye off the target, you tend to miss it a little bit. But she throws beautiful weight. You can see this right here as Julie slides out. She's got her eyes on the target, and then she drops down to her hand at release. It's just kind of a tough choice to make.
Still, I do see a lot of curlers and good ones to do the same.
Yeah, it's but you've got very little forgiveness. If you've got any bit offline, you can't see that you've done it. And Taylor comes back with a really nice double peel.
I'm able to avoid moving that red stone behind the guard once again.
Oh, I think I just said that on the web stream. Damn it.
Just a 1 guard really for Denmark to use, and it's quite long, a little bit off the center line, so they're actually not coming around it. I believe they're throwing a tight guard, or maybe that was just the option offered by DuPont, seeing how this was a bit shy for weight. And they just can't quite make it past the guard, and spills into the 12-foot, fully open.
Godt farvet.
And Sarah Anderson here at 63%. She's going to want this takeout here. We'll up her performance percentage a little bit. And that's a great shot for Sarah. The hit and roll, well managed by the sweepers. Nice delicate weight, nothing overthrown. Allowing the shape of the ice to help you make your shot. 53% for Denise DuPont. She's made a couple of big shots, but struggled in the last couple of ends. But again, the level of difficulty that Denise has been facing has been pretty high.
Well, makes a good one here.
And that level of difficulty isn't factored into the statistics.
No. Sometimes you're better off making a couple of key shots than all the simple ones.
Yeah, and again, those statistics really just give you trends. You can have a very poor game statistically and win handily if you make smarter calls or, like you said, the key shots of an end or a game.
This one looking a bit shy for Sarah Anderson. Monica Walker and Sister Taylor just really trying to drag this one as far as possible, but not able to get there. And leaves a couple of stones staggered in the 12-foot, something for Denmark to come around perhaps.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That shot lets Denmark off the hook completely if they make this next one. The stagger behind a long guard. It's going to be tough for USA to remove if Madeline DuPont can tuck a stone behind.
Jeg synes ikke langtiderne afspejler, at curlen tager. Nej. Det virker ikke som om den er markant langsommere. Nej, altså den virker enormt lang, den her. Er der hurtig, den her vej. Okay, men den køler helt vildt. Ja. 10? Ja, 10 på 15 siden.
The Danish skip is having a pretty steady game. But as with all skip shots, it's what have you done for me lately? Here, it's all about this one.
Often a bit more penalized as a skip too. You can be very close with a shot and get
zero.
A big fat zero. Like the slash she had for 3, she was close, but you don't get anything for it if you don't make it perfect. And this one does slip a bit deep, but it is for shot stone, and it's pretty buried. Not fully.
Yeah, it does do its job by taking taking the counter under the corner for USA out of contention for now.
So it's, yeah, foot. Piece over the top four. Okay. So this inside track isn't quite as fast. It's about a foot or two slower than the good track. Okay. Yeah.
So really specific information coming from lead Monica Walker to her skip.
Nice. Should be there.
And that's 78%. It's a nice start for Jamie.
Easy curl. Back 8.
Bumping this one.
Back 12. Not on it yet. Back 12. Back 12.
Coming
Taylor.
down. Just do it. Just do it.
Taylor, go, 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 go.
Pumping. Okay.
Well,
Good talk.
a little heavy would have been great if they moved that yellow far enough to sit too, but they don't.
Yeah, but looking at the scoreboard right behind Team Denmark, the USA is up by a single point. Even scoring one here gives them significant command of the second half of the game. And it's looking like there will be a somewhat open attempt for Jamie to score a single point. But if this stone doesn't roll to the right spot for Denmark, there might be a double takeout for 2 available to Team USA.
Tried to call them off at the end there and had to roll just a bit more. Has that left a double for Jamie Sinclair, or did they get buried enough? Well, it's not an automatic call here from USA, but seems to be the call after all, but just less weight, just try and push them just far enough to score the 2, perhaps?
Yeah, Jamie's not going to overthrow this. There's no need. She needs to make sure she takes that single point that we talked about. And you can see she does have to navigate around that staggered pair of rocks and the guard in front of the rings. But she really just needs to get to the nose of that yellow rock. A massive opportunity for Team USA.
Solid! Solid! Whoa! Forward! Whoa! Forward! Whoa! Close! Forward! Yeah! Whoa! Forward! Go, Tay! Go, Tay! Taylor! Go, Tay!
Well, just stuffs it and rolls too far. That is a steal, a 1 for Denmark, and would you believe it? All of a sudden we're tied. Now after 6 ends of play, 4 points per team with the 4 ends to go.
Nice try. Der er bare ikke noget mercy der. Det gider jeg sgu ikke, det der. Nej, lige præcis. Ja, det er virkelig godt. Det er bare sådan, det sætter sådan en lille dagsorden.
Denmark will get the 7th end going here, stealing 1 and the 6th. We're all tied here. Do you get the sense that USA might be outplaying Denmark shot by shot, but just not being able to take their opportunities and take advantage?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's any doubt that USA is outperforming, and in particular in the middle of the lineup. They're, you know, or the front of the lineup. But that single point in the 6th end to tie the game for Denmark, that is so significant tactically in this second half, because you think about it, you've got 5 ends to play at the start of the second half. USA had last stone advantage in the 6th end. That meant they would have had the hammer in the 6th, the 8th, and the 10th. That's 3 last stone advantages to Denmark's 2, all things being equal. But with the steal, all of a sudden that huge last stone advantage shifts to Denmark. And USA is going to have to kind of let that go as best they can. And, you know, there's a couple options here for them in the 7th end. Go hard for 2. You still have the last stone. Get up by 2 points again. And force something in 8. Or try and blank this.
Well,
but the 5-rock rule makes it really hard to blank.
Well, 3 guards in play already, so blank not looking likely at the moment. Well, that was a 3-point swing too, that last rock by Jamie Sinclair. You make it, USA is up 6-3 in the 7th. It's a whole different ball game.
Yeah, and then you see Denmark really having to take tons of risks to score multiple points. So a fantastic sweep to get around that center guard. Hold the line. USA does end up in the back of the rings. That's not exactly where Monica Walker wanted that stone. But the Twins did what they had to do in order to get by and pull the play into the rings a little bit.
Julia Hög will try and follow.
Yeah, and now this is all of a sudden, this is one of the first shots that starting from the other hack might benefit her. Give her a little bit better angle.
She'll over curl, and she's done that quite a lot today.
Yeah, and in particular on this turn and this release of, so you got to wonder, is she coming a little bit narrow or dropping her hand a little bit on that counterclockwise rotating shot for her?
Could a quick fix be to just give her more ice, perhaps, if that's happening consistently?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of ways to fix it. And in the middle of the game, the easiest way to do that is from the skips target selection.
All the way, guys, hard. Hard.
Oh, as the stone is making its way past the guards and just into the 12-foot for USA. We'll jump on over to Korea and Canada, and I believe the Canadians with a chance to score again.
Yeah, it looks like Chelsea Carey has a single counter in the back of the rings right now and an opportunity to draw to the 8-foot for 2 points and potentially take a 1-point lead on Korea.
Straight draw. Curling now.
You need it. Yep, just go. Yep, yes, just go. Yes, just go. You're over curling it if you're not to it. Yep, yep. Right
You're
to
okay.
it.
Sweeping this onto the backing, maybe.
Right to it. Right to it. You're over curling it.
They will. So that is 2 points for Canada and a 4-3 lead for Chelsea Carey and team. As Julia Hög on our sheet makes a little slash run back here. Is able to keep that yellow in play on the wing, but USA is still sitting the 1.
Yeah, and I think USA was, I think, hoping to blank this, but now it is all about scoring, and for sure with that rock tucking underneath the corner. USA is going to switch to full offense.
Line good. 4-5. Pull
So hard for 2.
I'm good, full 8. 5. Go, guys. Weight's good. Full 8. 5. Good. Come on, if any. Full 8. Shirley curling. Full 8. Gotta go, gotta go, gotta go, gotta go. Yep. Good, BJ. Nice job. Good throw. Good job. Nice job.
And it's time for a run back.
Whoa.
Oh, very close. Gets one close to the second. Leaves another yellow on the wing. And Jamie Sinclair will call for another draw here. Just a fraction off making the double.
Yeah, it was a well-thrown stone, though. And this is kind of against normal tactics to be playing under a center guard when you have the last stone advantage. So USA is playing up with fire a little bit here.
It's like walking on eggshells. One slight mistake.
Yeah.
And you're in trouble.
Yeah, all of a sudden Denmark might be able to use that center guard.
We're almost teed. It's coming down.
It's good. Good. Nice.
But when you have beautiful rock placement like that, it's going to be really hard for Denmark to take advantage. Nice shot by Sarah Anderson. And Denise DuPont will get a chance at that run back double takeout. One more time.
Yep. 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 Yes, Manu!
She almost gets it. But now you gotta wonder, did she roll to shot position? So you hit one, you run it back into the others. And again, just a couple of millimeters off.
Take a look at the speed of the ice here.
Top 8. Piece of 4.
So normally 14 to 14 and a half seconds, pretty quick. Is that around where we're at this week so far?
Yeah, and remember, this is just the second set of games that happened this week. That 14 and a half speed is absolutely beautiful. And Sarah Anderson manages it nicely. Coming to the top of the button, that LGT logo in the center of the ice. Call that the button.
Make sure your body's getting out there.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm feeling like I'm fighting.
You're fighting it, yeah. I mean, you're managing it great.
Jeg synes, den er kølet så meget herover, at det burde altså fint kunne lade sig gøre. Altså, hende, de er jo kommet i det der kæmpe bue herudefra, de vil komme ind mod midten.
Med indlæggene, ja.
Kun hakfart.
Playing hack weight.
Skal den ind lige på, eller skal den videre? Den skal helst rulle. Okay.
So when we describe the weight of the stones, that's the momentum that the athlete puts on the back of the stone when they slide. And when we say hack weight, that means that that shooter would, if it were to not hit anything, just travel all the way to the hack on the far end. And this stone is curling right away.
Well, doesn't tickle the second red, but leaves the shooter in the forfeit.
Sorry, it was a fly. Fluerne.
Den er så tæt på, den er bag.
That's a really great shot by Madeline DuPont. There's a lot of yellow building up in the rings. Team USA really only needs to remove the one yellow that's count shot right now and roll towards the center. Oh boy, that spot where it just curls so hard on the sheet.
And just barely touching that yellow and slides all the way through Jamie Sinclair.
Nice weight.
Well, starting to unravel just ever so slightly in this game.
Yeah, that spot where the stone just jumps, just curls so hard with that lighter takeout weight. I mean, the weight seemed good to me when I was looking at it, that the shooter would have traveled all the way to the hack.
Så skal den ligge der. Ja. Ja. Kan I lide den?
Du kan ikke lide den bagerste røde?
Jo, vi snakkede godt om det. Det eneste er, altså hun har en åben tag på den her lige på.
Okay.
Hun behøver ikke engang rulle for at ligge bedst.
Okay.
Hvis vi fjerner den, ikke?
Ja.
Så kan hun bare lave den der.
Ja, jamen, så kan jeg godt lide den.
Vi kan ikke stå lige på her. Det er meget, meget svært at komme ind på det hul.
Jamen det er fint. Jeg synes ikke, der er ingen grund til at spille svært skud for os selv. Vi ligger også med
så skal vi altså flytte derud af. Læg noget ud. Ja.
Øj, er det nu vi er ude, end vi plejer?
Ja, det er vi. De har været derude.
Well, you have to understand Danish to figure out what they're doing here.
Sådan tror jeg er svært at styre.
They are going to set up a draw slash guard to the top of the rings.
Ja, ja, ja.
And Team USA might be forced to play that counterclockwise rotating draw on the other side of the sheet.
God! 6!
Lina, giv den lige.
Lina, ja! 6! Den er lang. 7! Nej, den kan ikke på farten. Den kan ikke tåle. Den kan ikke tåle noget på farten.
Stone's got a lot of weight, a lot of rotation. Never caught the curl, but they get a little lucky and play off the outside corner guard.
Godt set, Matte.
Yeah, seem to get away with it.
Undskyld, jeg fik bare lige tvivl, da du sagde klik på den røde.
Jamie Sinclair doesn't hesitate. The draw is called here on the outturn to score her one. Not quite going according to plan.
No, and this is, you know, I mean, having an open miss on your skips first, it's really unusual. It's out of character, but Jamie needs to do her best to forget about that missed shot. Dial into the draw weight here and put this stone down into the full forefoot, put USA back on top in the scoreboard. And this team has managed these shots really well all game.
Right to tee line's good. Little light.
A little light here.
5.
Good here
Right to tee line's good.
from Taylor Anderson.
Right here, guys.
They are not even looking up. They're just heads down, scrub coast to coast here, trying to bring this as far as possible past the guard into the house here, but it's not far enough. And that's a steal of 1. It's just a 1 for Denmark, but they steal again, the Danish, and they're looking to turn this game on its head. The second half has been good to the Danish. With the home support, they're up 5-4.
Okay. Det var lidt lort den her, altså. Ja. At Julie skulle have været på uanset.
Well, momentum very much in Denmark's hands here. They're now up in the game. They haven't been up in the game until now. And we'll see how they deal with it. USA, well, they were up by 3 after 4 and let that lead slip away. So, yeah, it's a very different situation now in the 8th end.
Yeah, but that said, Team Denmark needs to keep the pressure on USA. We talked a little bit about that hammer, that all-important last stone advantage, and having it in the even ends. The good news for Team USA, although they did give up a steal and a steal, they're only down by a single point, and they do have the hammer in the 8th end. And they're going to do everything they can to use it, generate those multiple points here. And it's a great start from Monica Walker. And we get a look at the head-to-head, and we knew how this was going to turn out right from the halftime. Monica with a 20% advantage over Lena Knudsen. And it's all about rock placement on these lead stones, being very specific with where the stones land. And that's a beautiful shot for Knudsen. It'll help her percentages quite a bit.
10-5. Oh. Oh. 9-5. Oh.
Monica Walker gets a chance to throw a takeout.
10.
Trying to hit and roll all the way under the corner. It's a well-played shot. But you can see it is still available. You can see most of it. And this is a spot in the ice we haven't seen a takeout going this direction. The Danish second hits and rolls away from the corner guard. It's a nice shot. But because it's behind the tee line, Team USA is going to ignore those 2 stones that are in the rings. They're going to have Taylor Anderson.
It's a little light to me.
Throw a draw underneath the corner guard.
7. Line's a bit tight, Sarah. Weight's all there. Gotta go, 7. 8. Gotta go. 8. Gotta go. 8, 9. Yep. Oh. Whoa. Sit. Nice, Tay.
It doesn't land in the perfect spot for Taylor Anderson, but it does go into the rings. And you can see again, front end, these front end players, advantage to the USA's second. Nearing that 20% gap.
Ja, det kan jeg godt lide.
Med det der.
Ja.
Kan I bedre lide den?
Ja.
Eventuelt ned mod.
Ja, jeg kan godt lide den. Ja.
So because Team Denmark has that 1-point lead, they don't want to take any significant risks by leaving the corner guard out in front. And that corner guard is somewhere where USA can hide stones behind. And they make the defensive move there. Peel the corner. It's a nice shot.
We're bumping. Bumping. A little tap. Good.
So USA trying to use the Danish stones as back guards. Like the guards are gone from in front of the rings, trying to freeze their stone down on top of the yellow stone.
Jeg tror, du får den der ud. Hvis du spiller den pil, jeg tror, den der går med ud, og den der går ud.
This is a pretty key shot for Denmark. They need to get rid of the USA stone.
Wow. Wow.
And I don't know that they knew that was there, but to remove every single stone, that is an incredible shot.
That is just physics right there.
It's all about the angles. It's all about the rotation. Look at the timing.
That is pretty fantastic.
Wow. And all of a sudden, USA looked like they had something going, and Denise DuPont removes every single stone from play.
9, 8, 9. Yep. 8. Yep, just 8. Yep. Good.
And Jamie Sinclair trying to use anything they've got, and all they've got are these 2 U.S. stones that are in the back of the field of play. Well, now all of a sudden, that's where we start seeing the shift in head-to-head. This is a much tighter 68% for Sarah Anderson to 61% for Denise DuPont. And again, Denise DuPont makes a really nice, simple hit and clear out of the rings. You don't want to leave anything back there.
Little lighter? Yep, a little lighter. A little less. Gotta go then. Line's good, back 12.
So
Line's good, yep. Yep.
So just looking to freeze in the back here. That's a pretty good effort. As we're looking over to Korea, Canada once more. Kim Min-ji with last rock for the Koreans.
yeah, and just a nose hit here, and Kim Min-ji can take 2 points and get the lead back. And this one not curling quite enough. Hits on the outside and rolls away.
That's just going to be the one for Korea, and they'll be tied after 7.
Only one measure, yeah.
Seemed like they were in control there, but let that one go. As we see Madeline DuPont also cleaning house again. Nothing in play for the Americans at this point. Not what you want to be looking at when you need to score your 2 in the 8th.
No, and it comes down to, it's going to come down to making a choice. Do you try and score here and take a single point and tie up the game? What do you know about Team Denmark and their performances in the last 2 ends? Or do you blank for USA?
6, curling hard.
And keep that last stone advantage.
Line's good. good. Right on the tee. Good. Nice shot. Perfect. Good throw. Nice 4-6.
Pretty good speed.
And there's the game difference so far. All of a sudden, in Madeline DuPont taking the statistical lead on Jamie Sinclair in this second half. You can see Jamie's hits down at 44%. You just can't have that at the skip position. But that said, you're still only 1 point down. And it's decision time for Team USA.
Yeah. We have to steal. Or
Did they consider scoring one here?
good with a blank? Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
So I think they considered it. Jamie and Sarah, the back end, didn't have a long talk, but this is the kind of thing that you would go over with your coach before a game. How you like to play this, and would you rather be tied after 8? Or down 1? And they're trying to get that to roll out, and looks like inadvertently the decision was made by the throw.
Like pretend you're going for the blank, but then take one.
Now they're tied.
I don't mind that. That was,
Well, 2 rounds to go here, and Silkeborg Sports Center.
Ja, hun har misset meget på det.
I dropped it. You gotta go. You gotta go. I dropped it. One. Let's leave it one then. Yeah, get over. Get over. One's good. Just the one.
Well, all tied up here, Denmark and USA. 2 rounds to go. What's the game plan for the Danish here in the 9th end?
I think ideally Denmark would like to blank this end. They'd like to keep the last stone advantage in the 10th and final end. Team USA wants to force a single point, maybe set up a steal. So USA through the high guard. They're going to go for the steal. And we'll see how hard USA is going to go for the force. Knudsen not happy. That stone slips just a little bit deep into the rings. those guards lined up, one on top of the other. Quite a bit of separation. USA's lead sets up the end once again. And now the Danish lead. She wants to freeze to her own stone. Maybe sit a foot or so in front of it.
A little heavy again here. Wanting to pull up a couple feet shorter as we jumping over back to Korea, Canada, all tied there at 4.
Yeah, and there's a lot of Korean stones hanging around the rings, but it is a open hit for Canadian skip Chelsea Carey to score 2 points in the 8th end. Right at release, she's saying no. But the good news is they hear the word clean, which means line's pretty good. You just have to take care of it down the sheet, and they do.
Good.
And that's 2 points to Canada and a 2-point lead.
Yeah, look at that.
As they head into the 9th.
Thanks.
That was a little sweet. Yeah, good job. That was 10, actually. Yeah.
Tag en af mine. Tag 2'eren eller 5'eren.
Der skal svinge i den her.
Var det hak?
Ja, lille.
Okay.
Lille.
Konkurrencen er kort.
That's barely out of her hand before their screaming sweep. We talked a little bit about the broom placement, maybe giving her a little extra. But the good news is she does open up a bit of the front. She takes off that high guard.
Little light to me? Yeah, I added. 5. Yeah, line. Hard man. 4-5. Hard man. Hard man. Hard. Go, go, go. We're guard. The guard. Right on nose.
How does that line up for Denmark?
I think the double peel is quite an easy call at this point.
Så den sætter sig nok deri. Når du fjerner de to
Where
der.
does the second red go?
Det må vi leve med.
Well, there is a chance that it runs back into the other red that's in the rings. That might ricochet off, but I mean, if you're Denmark, you just want to start opening things up, pulling the play into the rings.
A little tight for line here, Julie Hög. That's not quite ideal. Does move all the reds, but leaves one right on the button and the center guard.
Yeah, she's just struggling to get the right line today. And it's almost a kind of a worst case scenario there.
Så har vi efterladt en run til mig. Ja, den har
USA's got a great opportunity here.
Just top 12. Top 8. 3. Little light. Gotta go then. 4. Weight's pretty good, actually. Got a curl. Got a curl. Almost to it. Okay. On if any. Okay, whoa. Good,
Much better here.
Yeah, I think we're going to see Denise DuPont get to throw that run double takeout yet again.
Run double through the goalpost at the back.
Yeah, she's got a chance to hit one over the top and one out the side.
Pretty close here. Goes one. Just going to jam on one of the back yellows.
Yeah, the angles are so challenging on those shots. There's so many components to it, especially when you're trying to navigate stones, not only in the front of the rings, but in the back as well.
2, 2. Line's good. 2. Nice and tight, guys. All the way. Never. Line's good. You got to touch center. Line's good. A little bit. Good. Nice throw. Good sweep.
And those shots look very simple, those guards out there in front of the rings. They look very simple, Sander, but
I always get stuck on
when the ice is curling so much that a foot or two difference in momentum changes completely the line to land a stone, bisecting the center line. It's a pretty great shot on ice conditions like this with so much movement.
DuPont, oh, just caught in between there. Neither the run or the double on the guards. But does open it up again.
Yeah, now it's time for Jamie Sinclair to get back to her shot making.
Yeah, I agree.
She's had a couple of ends where she's had a little bit of trouble executing. This is
really nice still.
a bit of a dream shot for a skip,
Yeah,
right?
really holding up well.
You've got a stone on the button, and it's not easy to get to as long as you put up a really nice guard.
Nice. Little light. Good. Just a 2. 2. Room. 2. 2. All the way. It's really wide. All the way. Yep. Hard.
Oh, Monica Walker working this really hard on the inside here. Trying to get some extra curl. Needs to get close to that center line. Not to leave a hole for Denmark. And they do. I think the hole's pretty snug.
Yeah, that was an absolutely outstanding sweep by Monica Walker and Taylor Anderson. They worked that hard the whole way down.
Selvom det selvfølgelig er svært at styre, men
Well, Madeline DuPont thinks there is a hole. She's going to try and navigate it. It's a pretty tight port to go through.
Yeah, but she's playing this shot knowing if she clips the center guard, it's pretty good. Might even catch her on yellow and make the double.
Yeah, and spin onto the rings.
See what she's got here. Looks and sounds very close through the port and peels off the US shot zone. What a throw by Madeline DuPont.
Yeah, that's a crowd pleaser for sure.
Well, somehow it made that look easy, but look how snug
Wow.
that is to come through. Well, when the US girls thought they had the guard in place and it had curled enough, Madeline DuPont is able to prove them wrong.
Yeah, but now the good news for USA is with that shooter rolling out, USA can still throw a draw, and they just played this path, come right around the stone they just threw.
Nice.
There's still guards up front, which is what USA wanted. They wanted the force or maybe a steal of a point here.
Almost to the back. The back one. Taylor! Back one! Taylor! Forward! Back one.
Well heavy here.
That's fine.
And that's on to the back yellow. That wasn't very close at all. And actually slips off.
Yeah, and I don't know if there's a relatively open hit for 2.
Wow.
That went further than I thought. It didn't feel like that much more, sorry.
And I think Madeline Dupont is looking at the shot for 2 here, and that red sits in the open. You know, you could afford to be a little bit heavy there, but not that heavy.
No, and again, that side of the ice, we've seen it be a little tricky. When they were a little light, they cut pretty hard, and there's also a bit of a straight spot out in the 12-foot area there in the blue ring. And I think Team USA just got caught a little bit between the 2 spots. The spot that curls hard and weight would come off it, and the spot that runs a little straight. And Team Denmark getting caught in the same spot and forced to a single point with that hit and roll out.
Yeah, that's a lifeline for USA. Only the 1-point lead for Denmark with 1 end to go. And this one, 6-5, Denmark leads it.
Okay, vi snakker om, det var fint, hvis vi kunne få et point. Prøv til at starte med. Så. Ja. Alright. Vi skal ind på den første. Ja. Det er winderen.
Well, the fans have certainly got their money's worth in this game. USA-Denmark, it's about as tied as you can get in curling, although Denmark is up by 1. That hammer certainly is worth at least a point for Team USA.
Yeah, it's worth at least a point, and if there should be a miscue along the way for Team Denmark, it's worth 2 points to USA. And it's little things like that. That first shot, that opening shot at the end, slipping behind the tee line, gives USA the confidence to say, we'll put that corner guard up.
All there. Lost rotation.
Right out of her hand, Monica says it's all there. They need this stone to be short of the rings.
Yep, you can go. 15-7. Oh. Good, guys.
And it ends up in a really nice, powerful position, tight to the rings.
den før? Ja. Undskyld, det er mig, der synes, den er kort.
Godt spillet, Lina.
Ja, undskyld, Lina, det er godt spillet. Det kan godt se, Julie. Gav hun den? Jeg synes, hun kom væsentligt langsommere ud.
So Lisa Knudsen does what she can with her 2 rocks, and they're in the forefoot.
Nice. 1, 1, 1, 2. Easy. Tons of room. Line's good. Where is it? 1. Line's good. 1. Where do you want it? Whoa, whoa. I know. Good. Thanks.
So USA going with the double corner guards.
And what's the benefit of the double corners?
They're very difficult to get rid of. I mean, it's always some place for your team to hide a stone behind at some point. And it's how you secure your 2. You can see from the distance between the 2 corner guards and the angle at which they're set up, it's very hard to get rid of them. And now this gives USA a chance to hit and roll underneath them, and it's going to take Denmark a little bit of time, and several stones to get to a well-hidden USA stone.
It would also helpful that it keeps the other side open in case they need to bail out.
Of course. Always having a way into the forefoot is really important.
Was that released a little? Okay.
I'd say quite important to keep the shooter in play here as well for Taylor Anderson.
Yeah. Throwing 8.8 seconds, so close to 9 seconds hog to hog. It's a lot of weight.
Ellers spørg Ulrik. Hvad siger du, Dennis? Ellers spørg Ulrik.
Det er bare, hvis det bliver aktuelt senere.
Okay. Ja.
Er det så 4-3 eller 4-5? 4-3.
Lidt mere. Yes. Yes, Manu. Wow, wow, wow. Flot spillet, Julie.
And a wonderful shot from the Danish second. She's got to be happy. She threw it good. The line was perfect. Weight was spot on.
To roll this onto the rings, and they do.
Nice job.
Super shot from Taylor Anderson. You can see angles are tough. That's potentially the winning point of the game, just biting the rings.
Timeout called by Madeline DuPont. They consider coming around the corners, but of course would leave the yellows in the forefoot unprotected.
Yeah, it's the time their coach Ulrich Schmidt will make his way to the ice, and they'll have a discussion.
Hvis jeg var dem, så ville jeg være pisse bange for at lade den her. Fordi så skulle de blive ved med at lægge rummet det der, hvornår skulle hun nogensinde få det ud. Hvis vi bare lægger dem sådan relativt godt. Altså, hvornår skulle hun hun har 4 sten tilbage. Ja. Jeg tænker bare, hvis jeg er dem, så ville jeg være pænt bange for, at vi bliver ved med at lægge den guard.
Det vil jeg også.
Fordi hvornår skal hun... Altså...
Nej, og du kommer aldrig af med den der.
Nej.
Og der er så mange sten, er der heller ikke tilbage, heller ikke at hente.
Det er 4 sten til så at fjerne. Altså...
Ja. Man kan sige, hvis nu I ligger garden, og hun går rundt, jamen, så har I stadigvæk muligheden for at gå rundt selv igen. Og I har noget at arbejde med, ikke?
Ja, klumpen til dernede.
Ja, hvis I lægger den her over, den skal altså ligge rigtig godt, for hun ikke har et hit og rull, og lige pludselig er der 2 i spil, ikke? Så jeg tænker, at der er kun én vej frem nu. Ja. Alt på rød. Nummer 1.
Mette, hvad har du af langt på Julius? De er omkring 15 her, eller 15 her. Ja. Du synes stadig, den er hurtig, ikke? Jo. Og 3 kan også bruges til is. Ja. Og I kan sejle. Yeah.
So Madeline DuPont, after discussions with her coach, they've elected to throw that centerline guard. That ends up in a pretty good spot.
Jeg var særlig langsom.
Ja, jeg kan godt se. Ja, det er godt, de stopper med at fejle, så den ikke køler for meget.
Do you have any of it? It's hard to tell between the two. Like an inch? Yeah. Whatever you prefer. I mean, you could probably get to nose with hack.
I don't hate a timeout here.
We could call time.
You feel they're throwing up the guard again.
Yeah, I mean, they have to make a really good... I don't mind this.
Yeah, I kind of like that too.
Yeah, let's play it tight. With hack.
It's good speed here.
You got the Saren Pro side here.
So coming around the center guard here, trying to get to the nose of the shot stone. Try and sit right on top. Would love to kill the second yellow. Maybe bring that nibbler up front into play. Be hard to do just with hack weight though.
They are close to the guard.
On the guard. Well, can they spin this one in too? I think they can. Should have a little spin at the end. No.
Oh, so close. Not for lack of effort on Taylor's part. I think that one's off.
Should have swept it. I kind of knew it was coming at me.
And you see where that yellow guard ends up as well. Might have taken away the open turn.
Yeah, it's in a dangerous location for USA.
Get the feeling like the Americans really need to move those yellows in the forfeit to at least be able to score here. And at least to score 2, you're going to need a bit more room.
Yeah, but first object for USA, to have any chance at scoring 2, you have to score a single point. And right now, it's getting a little more difficult with each stone. So with that, now it's Sarah's turn to throw the run back double takeout. Her counterpart has had 4 or 5 of these shots.
Pretty close here. 1 and 2 and 3 gets them all moving. 1 will stick around. Hard to get that one flying as well. They were almost frozen in the forfeit. That's a pretty good effort by Sarah Anderson.
Absolutely. And it does create a little bit of space. It opens up part of the button if you'd have to draw it for USA.
Hvad skal den være så heroverfra?
Lang tid siden vi har været herovre.
Jeg kan ikke huske, er det store sving den side? Nej, det er den anden side. Det er herovre, der er et stort sving, ikke?
Vi har ikke været særlig meget herovre på indlæg. Altså det eneste med, der har spillet herovre, det var nærmest den der hak.
Well, as Denmark discusses their next shot here, it is Korea trailing Canada by 2 in the 9th end.
Yeah, and Kim Min-ji sits count 1 and 2. She's already guaranteed tying this game up in the 9th. She's got a tough draw through a port to navigate. There's no sweeping required. It is all there. They're past the corner guard by a fraction of a millimeter. And does it slip too far? Oh, it is close. But after the measure, it would end up being 1, 2, and 3 for Korea and a single point lead as they play the 10th against Canada.
Just roll over the guard here from Madeline DuPont. Looking to come around, and now have they left the port?
Yeah, remember the port that Madeline navigated in the 9th end. Will Jamie Sinclair have a similar opportunity here in 10?
Men det var også, det var nærmest bare...
Yeah, I think it might be easier just nose and roll.
But then they still just bury one around their guard, right?
Yeah.
They might have a draw. Even the draw
You guys
can
like
be
the
tight
run?
to that corner.
Yeah.
Yeah, leaning towards run. I think this is just...
I think it's harder.
I think so too. Similar to that blank attempt, like this
I like
inside
it.
edge.
Yep. You got it.
Terrified.
Yeah. What way do you throw at this, James?
Easy side. More like firm.
Yeah.
Just firm, eh?
Yep.
Trying to stick this run back here. Just a hair too high, runs it right past. And Denmark still with shot stone here. As what could be the penultimate stone of this game coming up.
Yeah, but these angles are a little tough. I think Denmark's wondering, do they put another one in and sacrifice the win a little bit?
Vi kan jo tråle og trække den helt. Er den der inde derude? Nej. Nå, okay, det er selvfølgelig tidligt. Ja, den skal ligge der.
Well, let's have a look over. Finland is playing Switzerland.
And Ona Kauste, the skip for Team Finland. She's had a really strong game. Needs a very difficult draw to keep her lead on Switzerland. It's all about the weight. The line's fine. She needs part of the button. She slips too far and gives up a steal of 2.
Well, that's now a lead for Switzerland. They've pulled back. They'll be up 7-6 before the final end, as we see Denmark on our sheet still discussing where to place their last stone here in the 10th end. I think it's pretty clear they're coming into the house to lie too. Question is just where. So that's all the scores this evening. Korea up by 1 on Canada. Sweden up 8-5 on Latvia.
Jeg synes bare, at det ser ud af lidt is. Fordi dem, der er kommet ind herind af hendes, de er væltet hen over midten. Ja, men der er bare, jeg gav dig på et tidspunkt en, hvor du fik lige sådan i kanten af 4 fod til at komme over bag en garde derovre. Ja. Ja, det er nok rigtigt. Jeg kan godt lide, jamen, det er nok fint. Det er fuld 4 fod, næsten top 1 fod. Ja. Ja, lige foran T-line. Ja. Ja, lige, altså, ja, lidt tættere. Den må hellere komme for kort end for langt. Ja. Ja. Ja.
Yeah, they very carefully go through the exact placement for their stone.
Jeg tror seriøst, det er rigtigt i forhold til, at det giver den der garde derhen. Jeg tror, det er svært at få garden derned. Uden at, altså, jeg tror, den nemt køler over. Jeg tror næsten, du har ret i, Lina, at den er svær på den her side herovre.
Second shot is the best guard.
Yeah. Yes, that's exactly what Team Denmark has decided. They could elect to throw a guard and just kind of hope, but knowing that USA's got that biting stone, it's too much of a risk. And kind of with this call, Team Denmark is willing to win this in the 11th end.
Try and keep this half open, maybe need a slight stagger, make it a little harder for James Sinclair to get to that shot stone. This might be getting buried though.
You don't want to leave a double for Jamie. She loves that shot.
A little heavy, or is it? Well, right on the tee line. I think that's probably just enough for Madeleine Dupont. Not sure if Jamie Sinclair can throw it hard enough to come off the back yellow and jump across.
Yeah, you have to throw that really hard to get enough momentum off your shooter.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah. We can call a timeout too. Yeah, for rock, this might spin up, and this might just go like
just pulls up in time for Denmark.
Realistically, it's half a rock, and I do this,
and this goes here. To here. Yeah. What kind of weight are you gonna throw?
Normal. Firm.
Sounds like they're playing the same shot, but just to score the one here.
Yeah.
Just head roll into the side of that stone, just thrown by Mada.
Yeah, if you could see any of the inside of the Danish stone.
Nice, you got it.
It's underneath the center guard. You might go for it. But as it is, it's a great shot from Madeleine Dupont. And Jamie Sinclair needs a hit and roll towards the button and use that Danish stone kind of as a catcher.
Last stone here, 10th end, needs to score 1 to tie the game, push this game into an extra end. Well, hanging a bit wide for Sinclair, and the Americans just rolled in. It does. And there you go, the single point for Team USA. It's a 6-6 game. After 10, we will go one more.
We had to move it all the way. We hit it all the way out, and if we hit the backside, the momentum could throw, James.
Well, let's go. Extra end here in Silkeborg, Denmark.
Steel? Yes. So a 1 and a 3?
Yes, my specialty.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, look at that scoreboard, 6-6 USA, Denmark. And it's an extra end, Monica Walker. This is the lead's time to shine for sure.
Absolutely. You need guards for USA. They have got to not just be good, they need to be perfect.
Really gotta go.
This one needs to creep over that black hog line to be in play at all. And they're just getting it over.
And talk about perfect. Bisecting the center line, just tripping over the hog line. Fantastic sweep by sisters Sarah and Taylor Anderson.
That is a brave throw as well from Monica Walker. So many times you see that slip too far without any sweeping. Almost too brave.
Yeah.
Now, Lena Knudsen might be coming up a bit shy as well. Huge sweep from Denise DuPont and Julia Hög. Don't want to leave a second guard for USA here. It needs this into the rings, and even though that's in the rings, that's almost a guard.
Yeah,
still.
It's almost a guard on this ice. That's a little bit high.
And another guard will be coming.
Yeah, absolutely. USA's got to ignore that stone in the top of the 8-foot.
Yep, 2. 2.5, gotta go, yeah. Come on. Hard, go, guys. Hard, keep going. Go, go, go. Gotta go, go, go. Man.
And this comes up quite a bit short. I mean, it's a great guard, but it's a little bit longer than Team USA wanted. And now Team Denmark is going to play the
Great sweep. Good.
the tick shot here. So they can't remove a stone from play just yet, but they can move them around in the field of play.
This one over curling a bit, and we'll have quite a bit of weight. And we'll push that red stone all the way to the side bumper. And that's a violation of that free guard zone. Stone will be put back and the thrown rock will be removed as well. Well, setting up pretty nicely for USA here. Two and a half guards, if you will.
Yeah.
And a chance to come around everything.
Now you really want this stone here touching part of the 4-foot.
Sophomore, line's good. 5-6. Whoa. Line's good. 7. Bit of room.
It's gonna come down once we get to the middle.
5. Go on. On. Go on. Yep. Hard. Go.
And look at that great shot from Taylor Anderson. Full 4-foot, super shot. Now USA is going to do everything it can to protect that stone for the rest of the game. And Denmark's goal is really clear. Open up a path.
Just gets the one here.
Yeah, now all of a sudden you got to wonder about that call to come underneath the centers and, you know, coming up short for Denmark. Is that going to be what saves USA? Because there's a lot of granite to move at this point.
I think normally you see the tech shot be called on the first one. If not, and that's not made, you make the draw. If you make the draw on the first one, it's more normal for you to see maybe the team make the draw again. To get maybe come around your own, go top 4 before your opponent. But they've left USA with a chance to do that, come around that yellow, and they have. And now again, they'll just stagger this yellow tight guard, really. And looking pretty nicely for steal now for the Americans. Some incredible curling has been taking place over in Korea, Canada.
Okay,
Was
so this will be the
Chelsea
quick
Carey
stuff,
stuck at an
okay?
angled
Same
run
as
back
the
to set up for
Yeah.
two, but
Right.
Kim and G made the run back herself and now left a draw
Yeah.
for the tie.
And actually, Chelsea Carey used her time out before throwing this draw. She had her coach, who's her father, Dan Carey, come out and help them make their choice. I think they don't like the ice very much over there. It's a little tricky. It's the board side. And she is playing this draw through the port. Sweepers are on it right away. It just needs to get by the guard, but more than that, it needs to get some legs, and it will not.
Wow, and that is a blank, essentially, in the 10th end. Not good enough for Canada to push this game into the extra. Korea will win it 7-6. And after those two amazing shots, it's a bit sad to see that come up short. And another game ends here, and Denmark, as we see Denise Dupont not quite able to do the tidy work. It's been a bit of an Achilles heel for the Danish team, as protecting that lead, especially in the last end. That's almost how they lost their Olympic spot on that Olympic qualifier. And it was some very messy defensive play.
Yeah, they did such a nice job in 10, right, to hold USA. But now all of a sudden when they need to score, the scoring area is the pinhole right now, if even. And there's tons of guards out front. USA trying to put another one up there. And they do. They trip one just over the hog line again. Look at the lineup of stones. This is an incredibly long run back. And little wide, pop this one a little bit.
Well, this is a bit of a nightmare if you're a skip to look at what's left for you to win this game. It's not much. Right now.
It's not much, but Madeline Dupont's got to be like, I've got the out-turn draw. I have a space to hit. As small as it is, it's still available to her.
For now.
It is for now. And we're now into the skip stones. Jamie Sinclair looking to replace the guards that were so well set up by her lead and her third.
Mine's good. Gotta go. Whoa. 1.5. Okay. Just touch center. Hit. On, go. Yep. Hard. Hard. Go.
Well, we'll get that to touch the center line. Now I wonder if it might be worth for Denmark to switch the play, maybe even draw the button right now.
Yeah,
before it's too late.
You might want to see what that does. You might want to test it, and if you make it, great.
You kind of have to though. If you come up short, USA plays a guard. There's almost no way in, but if you try and peel something here and you don't make it, USA can choke off everything.
Everything.
Ulrik Schmidt will make his way down to get an extra timeout for the extra end. Could slash the yellow in as well.
Yeah, that could block your draw right away.
See what Schmidt has to say.
Draget nu.
Draw now.
Afgør kampen.
Ja.
Den deroppe, altså, den kan også sidde lige ned i, og så har du ingenting til sidst. Lige nu har du jo draget.
Ja, det er der vel. Det er bare svært.
Men så er det vel heller ikke svært. Altså, nej, men altså bevares. Altså, det er svært, ikke? Men, men altså, Det er jo det, du skal lave til sidst alligevel måske, ikke?
Ja.
Altså jeg tænker, den deroppe, den er svær, ikke? Og selv hvis du laver den, er der chancen for, at den sidder lige
så ligger hun
lige
måske der igen.
Ja, lige nøjagtigt, ikke?
Okay.
Bliver den kort, og hun lægger garden, er det selvfølgelig noget bæks. Jo, det er noget bæks, ikke? Man kan sige, kommer du ned og åbner op, så skal hun ned og gøre noget hernede, hvis den nu skulle blive lang, ikke?
Altså du tænker, at den må hellere gøre sådan der dut, end den må ligge der?
Ja, lige før, ikke? Fordi hvis hun ligger garden der, så er der ikke så meget, så er der den lange gule ned, ikke?
Ja, den kan jeg ikke engang, der er ikke vinkel til det.
Okay, jeg kan ikke se det.
Ja, den er der ikke.
Men så kan du selvfølgelig spille den lang igen.
Ja.
Men jeg spiller den.
Altså, nu ved du selvfølgelig ikke så meget, men kører den ikke sådan okay lige i et ret stykke langt tid, inden der sker noget? Jo.
I kan jo slæve den ind hos dig, ikke? Det der med at piske på den, hvis den, og så den bliver for hurtigt, det er lidt øve, ikke? Så den skal have chancen, ikke?
Okay.
Well, there are all the scores. Our game is the only one left out there. Sweden picked up a win against Latvia 8-5, and look at Finland, Switzerland. An L and a W only means one thing. Finland ran out of time.
Yeah, it's a very unusual way to lose a game. But the last we had looked down, Onakaste and Team Finland had a run back for the win. But their clock ran down before she got the stone out of her hand, and they lose.
Ulrich Schmidt came on for the timeout for Denmark, said one thing: you draw. You have the shot right now, you might not have it later. Also, if you're shy, come up a bit short, they guard, you have nothing. So even if you're a little heavy here and make a little split, leave yourself shot stone. USA gonna have to deal with it, and that pathway is gonna stay open. So rather come down here and be shot, even if you're not fully frozen. But this is a pretty good draw. Gets that little bounce off, but again, USA will have to deal with that yellow rock. Just a slight oversweep, didn't touch it much. All the way down, just some dusting, but that was always the tolerance, though, to be a little heavy and make sure to get shot stone there and then come up shy.
Yeah, we know, right? Yeah, but
Yeah, and as Team USA goes through its options here, I mean, they can see that stone. It's just about where to leave your shooter.
Probably back 8. Yeah, just back 8. What'd you have? 13. You got it.
Nose is not super fast.
Yeah.
Your nose is pretty good.
And I think it'll always curl. Are we going for nose or the roll?
I think a hair in is
If she throws
better.
like back
Yeah,
line.
but nose is fine.
Depends on what weight. I think that broom looks like back line.
I think that broom looks like hack.
See the yellow? It is slightly in behind that long center guard.
Yeah, there's a little bit tucked behind, but again, that guard is quite long. That's hiding it.
Should be easy enough to remove the yellow, but if you ever catch it at the high side, you might split your own red out of the forefoot. Might leave everything open for Denmark.
Yeah, she's just playing like a back 8 weight, back line weight.
Back 8. Back line. Back line.
Returns pretty good out of hand. And out the line. Want to come close to the guard, do not want to wreck. Trying to get to nose or even inside of this yellow here. Punch it back. They do. Really good shot by Jamie Sinclair. What is left for Denmark, I wonder?
Looks like the double.
You might have to play the exact same shot. If it's there. She's done well here, Sinclair. And Team USA.
Yeah, this was an excellent shot. Right to the nose, tapping the Danish counter all the way to the back of the rings.
Vi skal begge to ud af 4 fod, ikke? Ja. Jeg ved sgu ikke, om folk er nok til at rykke den der og rykke den igen. Mest fordi den der skal rykkes igen, og den skal rykkes helt derover.
Well, USA has done everything they could do in this 11 and juggernaut, and all they can do is watch. And she's going for an up weight.
Well, I thought you could play maybe not backline, just a bit more weight than Sinclair, maybe a hack or a board weight. And just try and catch it close to nose, just enough to split the reds out of the forfeit, really. It's really about the angle you hit it. Last rock on its way here in the extra. USA, Denmark. And USA line 2. DuPont needs to split out the reds here. This is hanging out for them. Calling on Knudsen to try and carve this in, but I don't think it's going to get there. It will get to one red, but one red remains. Actually, both of them do. And USA will steal this game here in the extra end. What a cracking game we've had. Well, USA, they're up by 3, lost the lead. Denmark up, and for USA to come back and steal it in the extra, well, we just had everything. And this one, 8-6, the final score.
No, that was great. Way to come back and stay patient, guys.
That was a great shot by Jamie Sinclair and Team USA on their last one. Didn't leave much for Denmark, and the home crowd, the Danish fans here in Denmark, will have to leave somewhat disappointed.
It's not always perfect, but it doesn't matter how you win. Yeah, they played really well. They did. Skip played really well. And the third. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Take them off right now. Oh, yeah. Oh, I think I was drinking somebody else's water bottle. Oops. Sorry.
Fifth end.
Yeah.
Madeleine DuPont coming through the port here to score 2, does that. Well, hit and stick. 2 points on the board for the Danes. And the 8th, Jamie Sinclair. Just down by 1, looking to blank and retain the last on advantage, but it hits and sticks, so that ties up the game. As we move ahead to the 10th end, USA again down by the 1. Jamie Sinclair needs to come off this yellow onto the button for the extra end. That shot is made as well. As we move in to the extra, and it was a great shot by Sinclair again to leave USA sitting 2, Madeleine DuPont, and to make the controlled weight doubled, but just a bit too wide, and USA steals 2 points. Steals the game, 8-6, final score. Those are all the scores from this evening. Korea picking up a win on Canada, 7-6. Sweden beating Latvia 8-5, and we also had Switzerland beating Finland on the virtue of Finland's time actually running out in the final end. Those are the standings just after 2 draws here in Silkeborg. China, Germany, Japan, Korea, Russia, now USA, also Switzerland and Sweden all with their 1 win. Quite a lot of games left before the standings shape up. Very hard to tell who will make it through the playoffs at this point.
Evening.
Congratulations on a humongous win, Jamie. How does that one feel?
It feels pretty good. I mean, I know that we stole the last end, but it kind of feels like we stole the game. We weren't playing too well in the second half, and they managed to make a really great comeback, but we were just happy to come out on top at the end.
Okay, the second half, what are you going to do going into your next game tomorrow?
Well, I think it's just really just trying to keep focus for the whole 10 ends. It's a long game out there, and there's a lot of pressure, so just trying to maintain that focus for the entire game.
Okay, and for the championship?
Well, I hope we get there, yeah.
Super. Congratulations again.
All right, thank you so much.
Well, one brilliant day of curling here, the first one of the World Women's Curling Championship here in Silkeborg, Denmark. Lots of curling left to come, so stay tuned for more curling action.
Back and stay patient, guys.